So, the Game Awards numbers are final here, guys. Let's go over them because they're gonna be so good, right? Now, we all know. Let's pause immediately. We all know this is utter garbage. Anyone taking this award seriously has mental issues. Like, you seriously have to have some issues. Believe these awards. And this goes for the anime awards, the Oscars. They're all terrible, right? I think the anime awards are still the worst for some reasons why, and I video blog for that when I roasted that. But yes, the Game Awards are also incredibly terrible. So we're gonna go in the video now, go over the nominees. I have played all the good games here basically, because I'm an actual gamer, right? I used to actually beat Meta 4 more for yesterday. Review coming up maybe tomorrow. So I'm gonna, of course, talk about what I want to see nominated and what I would vote for, whatever. But first of all, guys, I wanna say it's been a great game year. This actually might have been the best game year in a decade, and I actually mean that because there's so many good games, right? Like Elden Ring's DLC, really great, amazing. Obviously, games. FF7 Remake Part 2 actually was really good. Part 1, I mean, I didn't like Part 1, and I worked on that game, okay? I did not like FF7 Part 1, and I worked on Part 1. Part 2 is way better. I was like, yes! But obviously, one reason I didn't like Part 1 because I complained. People like, why are we doing this thing for? Why is all the combat? Why is all the mini bosses? Why is all the quests? So Part 2 was much better. I liked it a lot. But also, of course, this year has been the game of new companies. Like, obviously, Black Myth Wukong, the big name, right? Stellar Blade and so on. But also, this game has been the year of failures, right? The year where stupid companies like these, like Concord and Dustborn and so on, right? Obviously, Dragon Age, Veilguard, has completely failed, right? These games have failed. So this game year is probably the best game year in a decade, right? Because we have so many new companies coming out. Again, they're mostly obviously Wukong, but also then these other companies, established companies, massively failing. We're trying to make really, really piss poor games. So I think this will be the best game year. As a side note, I have a rather long vacation probably this year, or in the winter. So I'm making a lot more game videos, guys. Higher quality, I feel, because I have more time, right, to think about it. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm just going to vote for you guys, right, and look into it. Maybe to stream this thing, but I'm doing it offline. Didn't want to bother so they have to stream. Could be better streaming. I usually do stream. When I do the anime awards, I usually stream them. But the thing is that when I do the anime award roast, it takes like 3-4 hours. Because I really get into it. Right? This is what I mean. I usually do that. The anime award should drop like in the 1st of Jan or whatever. So it's always like vacation time. So I can sit there for like 3-4 hours and streaming. But anyway, let's go into it. So we're going to vote. Look into the games, right? So I think we start straight up with the best thing then. Game of the year. And obviously everyone's going to be really angry because Wukong won't be there or whatever, right? Stellar Blade and so on. We're going to see what they do here. They're obviously going to have Elden Ring. I have actually the Elden Ring here. Power standing on Elden Ring there. So that does work. That's great. This is the site, yeah, so... This is the quality. Oh, here we go. Oh, Wukong is there! Oh my god, they fell for the pressure. They fell for the pressure. They could not do it. Oh my god. What are people gonna be airing over now? They couldn't. What are people gonna be raging over now? I am honestly surprised here, but not too surprised. You know, I think it's Stellar Blade. If that would have been here, I would have been more surprised, yeah. Because Wukong is obviously a really good game. It came out of nowhere, sold 1 million copies, right? And they have to kind of put it there. Stellar Blade is actually probably more controversial because, you know, Eve is kind of hot, right? It's probably an Eve figure, yeah. He's way too hot, right? So, Stellar Blade, I would be more surprised about. That being said, I kind of honestly think Stellar Blade is a better game than Wukong, so. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I said it. I mean, I like them both, but Wukong is probably a better world than enemies, so on. But I actually think that the combat Stellar Blade is better. It's harder. It's better, quicker, and so on. There's a lot of details that Wukong has. Is better Stellar Blade. But one thing Stellar Blade has is the music, which is really good. At the same time, though, Wukong has this like, you know, one thing I really love with Wukong is these animes, right? When you beat a stage, you get this like anime kind of thing. What happened before the stage happened? You kind of see, you know, the boss like before he got corrupted or whatever, or it depends. You see like Banjo's sad life story and so on. So those things are really good too. Oh, they're both really good games, honestly. I mean, Balatro, no way. Astrobot, I think surprised everyone how good it is. Yeah, Astrobot is a good platform game. It actually is one of the best games this year. Still though, I don't think it's game of the year because I think Astrobot, and I saw people memeing that it was so similar to Mario Sunshine, but that's kind of what I feel too, right? I don't think Astrobot is a bad game per se, but it felt very like, how say it, uncreative, honestly, in a weird way. Even though the game is quite creative at the same time, but you know what I mean? Because it just felt like I'm playing a Nintendo game, right? Which I played before, with some difference to it. And I think Game of the Year should be more than that, than just being like, oh, okay, this is like Mario Deluxe something. Elden Ring, obviously, they'll talk about how they changed the rules so DLC can be there now. So, alright. I think it's a weird thing to have it. I think it's a terrible rule because you can keep. I mean, they're always doing it to try to have Elden Ring in every category, right? But I think on the same time, Elden Ring is a weird case where it isn't just like a DLC. Elden Ring really is like a whole game. It's like a 100-hour expansion thing, right? I didn't think that. For me, it was like a week to beat it, so maybe like a 30-40-hour expansion for me, perhaps. I don't know how many hours I spent, but I didn't. I beat the last boss in like an hour max, right? So yeah, I find it very easily as boss. If you die a lot, it takes a lot of time. But I mean, it's a big world, and obviously it's replayable. I played once since then, right, with some other builds on the character. So it's a really massive expansion. But that's what I mean. Elden Ring is a really weird edge case where it basically could have been called Elden Ring 2, whatever, or 1.5 or something. But at the same time, it is obviously smaller than the original game, which was very big though. So I don't know, it's weird. Let's look at FF7. I have the deluxe over there. Like I said earlier, I really like it. I don't know, some people hating on it. People are kind of making fun of its bad sales numbers, I guess, because people are angry at Square Enix. But I mean, it's a PS5 exclusive, and most people probably only buy it after they play the first game. So it's a very like niche category kind of thing. But I think the game was really good, and I don't have any issues with it being like a rewriting of the storyline. I had issue with that in the first game, right? But now I already accepted that it's gonna be like that in the second part. Like I said earlier, they fixed so much of everything that the first game lacked. They added all the mini games. It's a long video, but basically one of my main concerns of the first game, which I said when I worked on it too, is that like what is all the gameplay? FF7 or FF in general is known for all the chocobo racing, the card games, all the mini games, the extra bosses, the hard side bosses, and all right, and all that was lacking in part 1. And part 2 almost has too much of it. Part 2 has too much mini games. Genuinely, too much mini games. But still, though, I think it's a much better experience in the first part, right? Because you have I like the card game. It was really good. Sugar Racing and so on, Gilgamesh Quest stuff, so then you have the tower defense, so it was really good in that, all of that stuff, but it could have a less of these like really bad mini games. Yeah, they kind of went complete opposite here. It's kind of similar to FF13. It also was also lacked a lot of that, and then 32 had a lot of it as well. Same thing there. But anyway, I'm actually probably liked a lot more what we did, and for me it was a return to form because it was finally an FF game that was good. After 16 was terrible after like a few hours. And 15 was actually like, I don't know. It was a weird game. But I would say of these games, I think Wukong. And honestly, I'm not going to get into all my other games here. But for example, a game that I liked more, honestly, than Wukong probably, was Yakuza 8. That game hopefully say somewhere. I really love that goddamn game. Jürgen Overlord. It's a really good game. That's probably in the strategy part though. Very specific. That was one of the best games this year. Fantastic, probably later. I also really like, I'm playing right now, is Romancing Saga 2 remake, which is really good. Probably won't be here because it's very niche. But anyway, I have to sign in. Okay, whatever. I'll pick Wukong here now. Okay, so we'll. What's the point? This is exactly every year. It's the Anime Awards too. What is the effing point? Best game direction is the exact same thing as best. Best. Well, game of the year is also blah 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 Wukong, FF7, right? Then you take the next thing, and it's literally the exact same 5 games, the exact same order. What is the point then, right? I hate the thing so much. This is the exact same issue in Order of Wars 2. Like, because it's essentially Anime Wars 2. It's like, oh, best anime, like One Piece. Best director, One Piece director. Like, it makes no sense if this thing is just like, no, okay? Like, they can't have something here. This thing can't just be the good game they were popular from. No. And honestly, I think it's terrible too, because best game direction, for me, it probably should be a niche game, right? Again, it's kind of different, because there's like a creative vision here. I think it should be, honestly, Elden Ring, terrible choice for this thing. It's a great game, but is it creative? It's just the same thing more, right? I mean, okay, I love the game, but the bonus is it's not creative. FF7 also not very unique creative. Astrobot I give it more to that, right? Wukong is creative, like I said earlier, because it's like anime cutscenes and so on, so it's kind of different. But no, it's just so stupid. What's the point of having such a category again? But it's just okay. Best, okay, yeah, as mentioned earlier, I think it's a really good game. This definitely be my pick then. Yeah, I really like Yakuza 8. It was an incredibly good game. Also very long game, like 150 hours or whatever. Has all the Sujimon League and so on. Yeah, it's a really, really good game. If you haven't played it, you don't have to play the previous games. But I would say that it's like you should play the 7th and the 8th game. Right? Ichiban, and then you get the Kiryu part also in 8. But I think it's one of the best games this year. And I think people forget about how great Like a Dragon is, because it was released in the beginning of January, right? It was released in like, I think it was like week 2 January, like something like that, or week 3. So basically it was released like the year started, right? And I've been saying it for months now. Still one of the best games this year is Like a Dragon. Fantastic game. And honestly, probably the game that I spent the most hours in from a single player game, that or FF7, because I spent like 150,000 hours in this game. It's a really long game, but it's great. They have 2 main characters, it's swapping storylines. It's so much side stuff and the whole mini games and all the amazing quest lines you have in the game, and it's a really fantastic game, and the characters are so well written as well. And it obviously is a much more mature, role playing game like the previous Yakuza games, right? So with all the weird baby jokes and so on, yeah. But it is a really, really good game. Fantastic game. Like I said earlier, it might be my favorite game this year. It's in total, right? I mentioned Metamorph. I beat yesterday. With the last boss yesterday. It's I'm gonna make a review about this game this week if I have time, so maybe tomorrow or next week, but when I have time. It's be a long review, but it's a really good game. If you have played like Persona 5, right? This game is basically Persona 6. It's 100% that. It's a fantasy world, massively so. But it's just like the Persona games. It's a mixture of dating characters in your party, right? Or doing like dungeons and so on. It's really entertaining. You get stuck in like trying to manage like, oh, should I go with the Hulkenberg on a date, or should I fight another boss or something, or what wife should I prioritize? And people, oh, it's no romance. Like seriously, Ilfa grabs your hand and it's like, you with me forever, sweetie. So there is actually, and you get Cabedon and so on. There is actually several romantic scenes with the female characters. It just isn't like, the game doesn't have like a literal like ending where you basically end up with one of the female characters, your wife or something. Persona game has basically like official dating now. Where this game is just like, oh, you have a lot of like romantic encounters, but it doesn't like officially like tell you that you're married or something. The drawbacks of the game, though, honestly, I don't like it as much as Persona, because one of the drawbacks, the dungeons are really boring eventually. Not a big spoiler here, but a very minor spoiler. Dungeons. When you have almost beaten the game, this is my last, yesterday now. When you almost beaten the game, you have to replay 3 of the previous dungeons to beat them again. And they have a new boss up there, and the bosses are interesting, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, it feels like a low budget game, honestly, compared to Persona 5 or whatever, because like, yeah, there should have been always like 3 new dungeons. And then, but the worst show is that the minor dungeons, most of them have the exact same like color layouting. There is like caves with different like, the level design is different, but there's no other like there. Maybe it's like a red wall or a green wall, but it's exact same like it's a cave design thing. So it was really, really lazy. Of course, Persona 5 had like the freaking underground thing forever too, I suppose, but it's a little bit like that. So that's probably where the game really... I can't say it's the best game this year because it has very few enemy models. And it's so obvious too that the Minotaur model is the same thing as the Ogre model and so on. It's different skins and someone's calling me, sorry. But yeah, it's I can not have the game. I can log everybody later, but from a nerd standpoint, yeah, I think Yakuza has better written. FF7 has interesting, I want to spoil it here, but they rewrite the ending with Sephiroth and Zack and so on, so definitely made the narrative interesting in the end. Very interesting last bit there. Silent Hill 2 is weird. This is a whole remake thing because, I mean, it's basically Silent Hill 2 again with new graphics and some Vogue stuff, whatever, right? But even ignoring if, the character is fat now, whatever, it's ignoring that. This shouldn't be here. This is just stupid because there's like nothing new here. No, I really like Silent Hill 2. I like the twist of who actually killed my wife, whatever. But I mean, this is just a remake game with like nothing new, right? This is a remake game where they just improved the graphics. So how can it be here? They didn't like rewrite the narration. I mean, sure, they probably changed some lines or whatever, but like silly. And of course, Hellblade is like a 3-hour video game. It's a joke, man. This game's like a 0 out of 10 video game. Yeah, absolute joke. Anyway, let's go on. That is very, very artsy game. 100%. I'll be trying to be quicker now. Best art direction. This is what I mean, right? If you keep using the same game over and over, I would say that actually probably Fine Metamorph has the best art direction though. Interesting enemies in Wukong. Elden Ring, I definitely wouldn't say so. It's fine, but it's like kind of like the same thing. Big monsters. Actually, yes, these human monsters are based on an old artist from like the medieval times, but Renaissance artist, whatever. But it is really interesting enemies in this game. Yeah, they're very interesting. They have very, very interesting art design of the characters and the enemies and the different races. So this fits the most like creative and fantastical of the games. Oh, sorry. But whatever. Oh my god, this is setting over again. Stellar Blade is there. A soundtrack! They actually have Stellar Blade! They have made it exist! Because it's almost a Stellar Blade! Like, Stellar Blade is actually here. They couldn't do to put it. So Stellar Blade has really good music, seriously. Stellar Blade has like Korean pop shit. It's really good, man. Stellar Blade has the best music. And I think it's funny too because obviously Nier, which is so heavily based on, also had the best soundtrack. They were like, yeah, we're gonna get some good tunes here. Like, we need to have it. It's really good. Stellar Blade has amazing music. It really should easily. It should win this. My soundtrack, by far the best of this year. Like, absolutely, without a doubt, the best out of this year. 100%. That being said, I also like Fantasia. FF7 could get me, but it's the same, just remake, it's the same music, right? That's why it's kind of like same music. But anyway, otherwise, Metamorph has a really good music too. Like, really good combat music, fantastic, very good, very, very good. If it wasn't Stellar Blade, I would definitely vote for Metamorph if it wasn't for Stellar Blade. It also has some really good tunes. Another game, good music. Romance Saga 2, the remake, also very, very good music. Spiritual music, fantastic remake, old school music, success music. But it's like best audio design. I don't even care, man. Like, it's stupid category. Best performance, no one cares. There's no sane person who plays these games with English. Like, who plays FF7 with like English? You're insane, okay? I have no respect for you. Like, come on, get a life, man. Get a life. To play it in Japanese, you just gotta grow up, man. This is always the dumbest. This is always the dumbest thing. Here it comes, baby. Here it comes. This is always the dumbest thing, okay? The dumbest category always. Innovation. I'm so stupid. Innovation in accessibility. This is always the dumbest category. Like, no one cares about, right? No one cares about whatsoever. And then, of course, in the middle, the perfect game. Dragon Age Veilguard, and also another very game, Star Wars. Like, here they come, man. The terrible games that we absolutely no one actually gonna vote for. That are terrible in every possible way. This game is just absolute shit, right? But okay, maybe it has good accessibility. Yeah, you can play as a non-binary. It's true. But does that mean though? Honestly, I don't know, right? Because normally, of course, what you mean with accessibility is something like red, green color changes, or maybe you can change the input for your controller. Maybe you can play the game with different kind of controllers, right, or whatever. That what you would mean? I don't know. I haven't heard anything that Dragon Age Veilguard does good there. So it's kind of it would be kind of silly, right, if they include here, because you can play as a non-binary or whatever, or you can have like scars. It would be really silly because stability is a technical thing, right? This is technical. This is supposed to be technical hardware stuff. But it would surprise me if they have it here because they like the judges doesn't understand difference between accessibility and gender wokeness. But it's perfect. It's perfect. And on Star Wars, it's perfect. That is of course gonna win this thing. Accessibility. Why is it Dragon here for then? Game for impact? The whole game is like you can be a trans character or something. Yeah. Although it won't be in trans. I'm just saying that you have to be a bar for it. I think Life is Strange is incredibly overrated. I always hated the whole game series because of lesbians. No, but seriously, I won't go into too much in this video, but I never liked Life is Strange, right? Because I used to play a lot of these Japanese novels growing up, right? And you had this myriad of decision making, right? And then you have games like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, which I really love the game. But Life is Strange, I hate it, so to speak. But I actually kind of hate it because it's so boring in those games because they present themselves as, oh, you have these different options or whatever, right? But you basically have to end like the part 1 into part 2 basically has to end in the exact same way. So it's like really, you can't really alter how you go. You can alter a little bit how you get there, but you always get to the same place. That's just fake then. That's actual decision making, right? And of course in the newest game, they basically pretend that nothing what you did in the previous game actually happened or whatever, yeah. So it's just boring. It's just like a linear game pretending to be a multi. It's a linear game pretending it's not linear. This game almost a joke. This game isn't like a game. Have you played this game? You beat like 3 hours. Yeah, the game is like it's not a video game. That's what I mean. It's like it's games for impact. People's money were lost for no reason. Yeah, where's my $70? Yeah, it's like where's my money? And honestly, I haven't even heard about this game. Indica. I admit it. This game I heard about, this game I've seen, I haven't played it. This game I actually haven't heard about. I mean, obviously I don't care about it. I care about gameplay, right? Where is the best gameplay? Yeah, it's best gameplay. Oh, it's like League or whatever. Oh, Fortnite, the Helldivers. FF14, who cares? So stupid line, man. I hate this thing so much, man. Best community support. There's some categories. You're like, how is the category? I mean, later it's like best esport team. I know it's even dumber, but it's like, who cares? Like, I mean, okay, as a company standpoint, right? Obviously, you should have customer support or whatever. But why is it a category for? Am I the only one? Why is it a category for? It's like, oh yeah, best video. Yeah, like, oh yeah, this. If you have a bug in your game, you call this company, they might help you in 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. Oh my god, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, who cares? Yeah, it's just, who's ever cared about this thing? You only care about the thing if it's really bad. Yeah, this is one of the things where you only care if it's really shitty. If it's decent, no one actually will. Oh, I'm gonna vote for this game. Oh, yeah, obviously, famously good customer support. No, who cares, man? Given how much they love Balatro, they're obviously gonna that game. They think gonna win, right? I haven't played these 2 games, so wouldn't this be like Wukong then? Wouldn't Wukong be here too, for that matter? Wouldn't Wukong also be here? Wouldn't Wukong be like? It's an interesting question, honestly. This kind of what I mean a little bit, with the whole categories, and they're always shitting on Wukong there. Like, what does Wukong? I mean, I would say that Wukong counts as indie, right? And as a debut game, obviously Wukong is like a. I mean, what are they owned by? I guess the Chinese government. That's supposed to. I'm sorry, that's why they can't be here. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Wukong should be like best debut indie game because it's like a small company, right? The first game, and they're not owned by EA or something, but they're owned by the Chinese government. So they're not independent. No, they're super not independent in that sense. I'm sorry. I just realized that. Yes, this honestly, the probably senseless Zone Zero is the best mobile game here. I would say, but but it's a really weird thing though, because best mobile game. Do they count like game release this year then? I guess, because now maybe it's not a category, it's like ongoing mobile game. Okay, no one cares about like best VR game. Oh my god, let's keep going. Okay, here we go. All category. Best action game. They had a little bit of Stellar Blade. Yeah. A little bit Monkey. Mr. Monkey probably win, right? If all the Chinese people for the government votes. But I would say that Stellar Blade is a better game, I think. I think so. Than Wukong, yeah. I think it's much harder to. Better combat. Definitely better combat. Which really matters, right? Little repetitive, have some dungeons and so on. It's not the perfect game. I don't think it's the perfect game. It probably could be longer, honestly. Yeah. And so on. But like I said, best music, probably the best combat. And that's where it matters. Space Marine is good too, but I don't think it's included myself. Helldive, I think, is very overrated. And COD is like... And I worked on 3 COD games, okay? I worked on 3 CODs. I worked on Black Ops 2, right? For example, and come on. It's just Black Ops again, yeah. Come on. How much have they improved it since I worked on it? Not that much, let's be honest here. It is basically the same thing again, it's slightly better. I mean, I still like it, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm using my foot there. I think Black Ops games, obviously number 2 the best one, Black Ops are really good. But it's just kind of like, they're very iterative. They improve very slightly since last time, right? It's slightly better, but you know, it's not like it shouldn't have been the best game of the year. That's like amazingly new something, but it really isn't. Best action adventure. I guess Legend of Zelda, I guess. Which actually is a pretty cool game. But is Astrobot really there? I mean, I would see this is like a really weird category because this is also one of the reasons why I have no respect for the game much. What would it mean here? Like puzzle solving and so on. I mean, I would say Astrobot was a platform game, you know, typical Mario, right? Zelda obviously is very adventure. You have to puzzle stuff and so on, but I don't know. I don't find them in the same genre, right? It's like I don't find Link to the Past isn't the same genre as like I don't know Super Mario World or whatever. No, they're not the same genre. They're 2 very different genres. Like why this should be called like adventure. You have head action, and I don't think that this should be the same genre. It's just like a really weird thing. Would you say that Star Wars is the same genre as this game? Of course you wouldn't. Who would say this? It's just so stupid. Like seriously, who would put these 5 games in the same genre? They're basically all different genres. This is a horror game, okay? This is some, I don't know, terrible single-player, fake open-world sandbox game. This is maybe, I guess, same thing as about platform games, and this is an adventure game. These are like all in these different genres. Maybe this one to the same genre. These 2 is a horror game. Yeah, it doesn't fit here. It's so stupid. Jesus Christ, man. Best RPG. I would give it to Like a Dragon. But like I said, I actually think the one RPG that no one talks about here is, of course, Remember Saga 2. This is fantastic, and also of course Unicorn Overlord. But I would live with Unicorn Overlord being counted as strategy instead of RPG. But still, though, it's like a RPG as well, right? It's a tactical role-playing game, so to be that. But I would use Jackson, of course, Metaphor. I honestly definitely would. I played all the 5 of these games, of course. Obviously, also play a lot of Dragon's Dogma. With Trickster, it obviously 0 out of 10. Trickster's not bad. I mean, Dogma is an interesting game, right? It's very unique, but just having like one of the vocation being unplayable, it's just like no. Like, I made like a whole video with I hate Trickster. It's just like terrible game design. It's just like, oh my effing god! And every time I say that, people come defend it, but we don't get it. No, Trickster is boring because it's too easy to. Yeah, it's like the ultimate tank class, but it can't. It's so boring. I hate this. Oh god, it's so terrible. Just pick like freaking the Templar Spear guy and immortal. Yeah, you can immortal your whole party constantly. Bubble. If you play the Templar guy, you can throw bubbles on your party members constantly. There's one build, the build I used in the end of the game, where you can spam bubble, so everyone's immortal, like everyone's invulnerable, so they have bubble on them. You can spam it constantly with like almost no cooldown. So it's basically everyone's like immortal for all the fights, for the whole dragon fights. The game is really broken. I don't know. You can one shot the dragon with the mystical archer or so. The game is, but I mean, it's in some ways fun. Yeah, it's very weird. It's a very weird game. But no, I think it's probably the worst of these 5 here. These are all good games though. Role-playing games are a lot of good games this year. But I probably would definitely pick Trade. It's not even in my top like 10 probably of RPGs this year. Our best fighting. I mean, I would easily give it to Grand Blue, which I played some bit during my vacation. But I have to say I went back to playing FF6 then, with M. Bison coming out. She's a fun character, so I couldn't stop playing with M. Bison. But before M. Bison came out, I was playing this game. And it's a good game, definitely. Dragon Ball Progress Series, come on, it's a pretty shitty... yet another mad Dragon Ball game. Multiverses is actually pretty funny, but again, that game was like is it a re-release then? I played it a lot when it was new, and I guess they mean the re-release now then. Tekken 8 is okay, but I don't think Tekken 8 is very good. I don't think it's changed that much from previous games. And this is obviously just one of the many Capcom like remakes. It's just a remake game, shouldn't be at all. This is old Capcom games, like who cares? But I'll get to Grand Blue, definitely. Best family? I think I would... I mean, the new Mario Party game actually is really good. Yeah, the new Mario Party game is really good. Acid Monster Court is a great game by itself, probably should be in that sense. But when I read Best Family, this feels like a category where you mean like, you know, for multiplayer. And then I actually probably give it to new Mario Party, which is really great. And the other games are single player, yeah. So I think Super Mario Party is actually, yeah, the best for like your, you know, for like a 4-player family, right? You know, mom, dad, 2 kids, yeah, I think like that's like how we guess should be there. Okay, Unicorn Overload, definitely. Easily, best selling game. Obviously I mentioned earlier, this game is fantastic. It's one of the best games this year. Should probably even be, like maybe perhaps even be the best game this year. Well, there's one thing though. Okay, so this game is really good, okay? Unicorn Overload, I have the Collector Edition and so on, right? I love Ogre Battle, right? And stuff like that game, so it's very much like classic old SNES games. It's a very, very good game. But, and very addictive one. But the problem is that the storyline is terrible. Okay? So, the gameplay is fantastic. The actual like combat gameplay is amazing. The tinkering, the options, you can structure many different units. Combination of different party. You have like 50 characters and all fight at the same time. So it's so from a gameplay standpoint, it's like 10 out of 10, right? And arguably the best gameplay this year, like straight up. But as a whole game experience, the storyline is garbage. Okay, like seriously, the storyline is like really bad, and the character romance is okay. Some of the character, like the elf lady and so on, and obviously your mom, sister, cousin character and so on. But there's some good romantic scenes, absolutely. Some good romance partner and so on. It's very like similar to Fire Emblem and so on. Those are really good too, but some of them are really lacking. So it's very up and down. It's like half the romance are really good, and the other half is just like really meaningless. So it's very uneven on the non-combat stuff, but especially just because Ogre Battle, right? Yasuo Tsuno's first game, it's Ogre F1. Those games are legendary, not just for the combat and all the new game mechanics, but also for the very mature writing, right? He was very, very serious. There's a lot of like death politics, betrayal, art scenes, you know, very, very crazy games. Like Text Ogre is the first game I ever played. We one of the female main character get Ard, you know. I'm like, what? Yeah, 96. I was a kid playing the game. I was like, what? Did my female cast member get Ard? What? You know, it was crazy. So he was an amazing writer, and he had no hinder. He's wrote what he wanted to write more. Right? He was very, very mature, very crazy, extremely well written, and very dark. You know, much darker than games of today, right? And this game comes here, and the game is very, very lacking in that. The twists are very meaningful. So I like the game a lot, but it basically is like a 10 out of 10 game combat, like 2 out of 10 storyline. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because the art is also 10 out of 10. Yeah, so art, music, combat 10 out of 10, and then it's a terrible storyline. Like it's just otherwise it's like a 9 out of 10 game where the storyline is really terrible, extremely bad, but everything else is so good. But easily best of the game. The other game are in this is barely even a strategy game. Frostbite 2 is okay, but yeah, easily a Unicorn Overlord. But yeah, who cares about sport games? Are you crazy or something? Something FIFA 11. I don't really care. Best multiplayer. From a family, as I mentioned earlier, yes, Mario, sure. Tekken 8. I probably give it to like Space Marine, you know, from an actual typical like play with your friends on Steam or whatever. Yeah, this is very strange to take an A tier because they had other fighting games before, and why is it like Grand Blue or something a better part, like you know, multiplayer? The best fighting game would arguably obviously be the best party fighting game, whatever, then, or the best like friendly. I don't know. So it's kind of weird. But I think that like Helldiver or Warhammer or those kind of, these are interesting new multiplayer games. And COD, I mentioned earlier, yeah, it's good, but same thing, is slightly better as the previous, right? And more important is good too. But Tekken's a very weird pick here. Super stupid pick. What do we have? Best adaptation. Why is this a category for? Well, is it Arcane airing now? What do you mean here then? Do you mean the Arcane airing like today or something? This also feels very strange because, like, didn't they drop like this Sunday 3 episodes? And they mean that season? They can't be meaning last season, right? They had like 2 years ago. Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. Fallout's okay. That must be the funny. Like a Dragon was really bad. And why is this is Volk Raider? Jesus Christ! But this is how you know they're a Volk, man. This is how you know they're a Volk, right? Let's be honest here, because Tomb Raider is a really terrible animation. Yeah, this is like a 0 out of 10 show, right? Laura Volk Raider is absolute joke. And this is kind of where they sneak it in, you know. This is why you can never trust these awards at all for a second, right? Now, I'm not saying that we had that many good adaptation this year or whatever, but they obviously are better than Volk Raider, which is incredibly ugly and fat, so bad, everything about it, and it's just, you know, it's just terrible, right? It's like, but why is it here for? It's only here because of a female main character. Honestly, you know, it's only here because of that, right? It's not here because it's quality, so you know they forced it in there. Of course, Arcane probably will be there anyway. No one's gonna vote for it, Jesus Christ, but it's just so silly. It's just forced in there, right? Yeah, obviously, most anticipated probably Monster Hunter. I really can't see like Death Stranding 2 being the most anticipated game. Definitely not. Monster Hunter might be. I guess. Well, is Granted Auto even coming out next year? That's my question. I suppose. Granted Auto 6 is obviously probably the popular game here, but is it coming out next year? I don't know. You know, from a short range from now, I think Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Wilds, easily the most anticipated game. Early next year, right? Coming out in early March or end of February. I also think Civ 7. I love Civ a lot, so I updated that out. It comes like early February, like 11th February, I think. I look forward to that a lot. I love Civ, as I mentioned, so they have changed Civ a lot now, but yeah, I'm interested to see how it's gonna be. I think the gameplay looks better, but from a immersion standpoint, it looks very, very much worse. But honestly, I mean, this is also why the Game Awards so stupid, because no, people hated this game. It's gonna be utter shit, okay? Death Stranding is barely a video game, right? It is absolutely not the most anticipated game next year. Absolutely not, right? But because the person behind Game Awards is like a Kojima fanboy, right? He's like, oh, we have to have this right here. But this is complete shit, because this game was absolute dog shit, right? It was a game, barely a game, I keep saying here. It was basically artsy-fartsy, no gameplay, terrible video game. Kojima, please stop doing video games and do movies instead, right? You know, give us a break, you know. And it should absolutely not be here. And there's no way in hell this game is actually even anticipated, right? Because the first game lost money a lot. Next game was even more money. No one wants to buy this game. It's barely a game, right? It's only, you know, it's only made because the guy is famous, yeah. And because, of course, people just, you know, are obsessed with it. But no one actually cares aside, you know. It's kind of like the Kamala Harris of video games, Death Stranding, yeah. Like the people actually vote for Trump, right? Popular vote is for Trump, but the establishment is like, oh my god, artsy-fartsy game, Kojima, oh my god, Kojima best, you know. So they pretend that it very much is like that, because Death Stranding is one of the worst experiences I've had in my life. It's an incredibly bad game. But it's very much that, Emperor New Clothing, right? Where all the game makers will pretend it's a good game because it's like so deep or something, right? So game makers are pretending that it's an amazing game. So it's very much that feeling of like the Biden is like sick or whatever. Yeah, he's always is the Biden or Kamala Harris of video games. Let me think about it, because it's like Biden, he clearly has dementia, right? And everyone is like, no, but Biden has dementia, you have to replace him. And then Kamala's like, no, he's perfectly fine. Like, guys clearly has dementia. He's perfectly fine. Bad as Death Stranding. The Stranding is just like, oh no, this game is effing terrible. It's like 0 out of 10 gameplay. It's like the worst AAA game ever made, honestly, probably. Like, seriously, it's so incredibly tedious and boring. An effing focus simulator game, right? But these guys, like Jeff and the people at Game Board, are pretending like, no, this is the best game ever. It's so deep. You just can't understand it, bro. You know what I mean? Death Stranding is freaking. Oh, if you can buy them, man, it's dementia Biden of video game. It's so incredibly embarrassing, and this is again why you can't trust them, right? And like I said, it's with Trump, right? These guys, they will not, they will be shocked when this game fails and sells nothing again, right? They're gonna be so shocked by it, because they can't, live in a bubble, right? Of these games, the only game I kind of want to play is honestly Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter Wilds, and also Better Prime, for sleep. I get out to, I think it's a fine game, but I don't know. I don't get why the game is so incredibly popular. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, I like it, right? I obviously grew up in that era of the first 2-3 games, so I liked them, I played them, but I never seen this like amazing hype with them. I never got it, honestly. Yeah, I don't know why. I never really become like in love with it, even though I used to play the first 2 games a lot when they were new. Yeah, a lot. For a while, for a few months, I played the second game massively, but I don't know. This is probably the least I vote for this girl, the virtual tuber. But I hate to think, I should be here, Man, this guy should get a freaking. This guy really should cut his beard, man. And I say that as a man with beard, but actually I cut my beard every week, but it grows so quickly. I'm a walking guy. No, but seriously, I cut my beard last week. It just grows really quickly. But this guy, man, I'm sorry, but come on, man. Like, I don't know. I've been waiting for the hot VTuber girl. Put a man behind that character, though. Usada, yeah, Bunny. Usa gave me his bunny. So, but his name is based on her being a bunny. Best esport game. This category, I guess, kind of makes sense, but this is gonna be like, this is League every time. Yes, League, man. It's probably Street Fighter the best one, obviously, but who cares? Best esport athlete, absolutely dumbest category ever. Who cares? Like, seriously, right? And then it's like best esport team, even less interesting. I'm sorry, but it's so incredibly uninteresting. It's so incredibly interesting. And that's it. I think it's. Yeah, no, it's just like Player's Choice Award. Oh, so I guess this last thing means that the players even less of power, right? Or this is when this is only votes for. So just like the anime awards or whatever, right? Your votes have no meaning because the judges, right, is 90% of the power or whatever. So if you go back, exit voting, go back to categories again here. So even if they have Wukong here, how likely do you think it is the Wukong actually will win, right? It's almost probably 0%, right? Because again, even if they have now, they fell for the pressure, right? And they put Wukong there, they caved in for the pressure. They're still obviously gonna pick like Elden Ring as the best game, right? Because the judges are all IGN and Game Rant, whatever. They're pretending that there's no female character in Wukong, right? So they're never gonna let Wukong win, obviously. So they caved in, but they didn't really cave in, right? Because they can still control everything with the judge system, right? And honestly, I keep saying it, but it's very similar to politics, where not so much the election itself then, but more like the democratic, the DNC, right, in America. So in the DNC, right, you have your the leader of the Democratic Party, right? So before you had Kamala Harris, normally the DNC would have an internal vote, right? People in the Democratic Party, who's gonna be the Democratic nominee, right? And then of course you go and fight Trump, right? But that was completely skipped over this time because of, I guess, mostly actually because of the whole Biden money going to Kamala. But still, right, usually you have that, And that also was a massive blunder for them because that made her even less popular, right? But that's kind of how this feels here. So normally, the Game Awards won't even have games like Wukong, right, or Celebrate in it. So now people, oh my god, Wukong is here, we're gonna win finally. But no, because this is a DNC, this is a Democratic Party, right? No, because they have, this is like Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, right? So basically, this is Hillary Clinton and this is Bernie Sanders, right? So even if Bernie Sanders, Mr. Wukong, can be voted here, right? The party, right, we have all the actual voting power. You, the normal consumer, can vote, but this doesn't actually matter. So they're gonna pick, old status quo Hillary over Bernie Sanders, right? That's exactly how it is. I mean, honestly, that's exactly how the political party is, right? So they have the power here, right? They have all the power. So the vote has no meaning. This is all for show, This game will never win. This game won't win. It's gonna be like Elden Ring or maybe FF7. FF7 is a very established franchise, so the judges are gonna be like, "Oh, I played that game at least." And honestly, most judges haven't even played these games. You know what I mean? There's also a very common issue with the award systems, especially the Oscars, is they haven't even played or watched them. Is that right? So they probably haven't even played Wukong, honestly. Right? The judges will only have played these two games probably. So no, they're not gonna let Wukong win. Never. This Bernie Sanders, seriously, Bernie Sanders never win this thing. I mean, it's the same thing over here. I actually could see them let Celebrate here though. I think Metamorphosis will win again because that's like the trans game, whatever. So there's a Vogue game, right? It isn't actually Vogue, but I think it's Vogue. So they're gonna vote for that. But Celebrate has amazing music. But I actually could see them letting it win here because winning best music when the game is famous for her tatas and action would be like a weird win for them. So I could see them giving it, to Celebrate that because it's a very like adjacent but that's not really what the game wants to win. You know what I mean? So I could see them letting it have this thing. It's because it feels kind of random. Again, though, it is the best music track, absolutely. But I mean, it really isn't, the category you want to win, right? So I could see them being like, yeah, okay, we give them that over there. This was setting. This is stupid as hell. What more had we had? Innovation was hilarious. Oh, that was hilarious that it was Dragon Age. The only time Dragon Age is there is because innovation is ability. It's fantastic. It's so innovative. You can be non-binary. Yeah, it's so innovative. And then lastly, I guess mobile. Then we have the genres. Best RPG is the one that's most stacked easily, and best action game of course you have kind of like this fighting. Lektion beloggas, what you prefer, Celebrate or Wukong? I think I come back and say that I actually prefer Celebrate, yeah. They're both great games though. Like I said earlier, great game, right? They're both great game, weird category. And then the role playing I think is very stacked. I mean it's easy to replace Dogma with other better role playing games, but it's very, very stacked, right? And like I said earlier, it's the last thing again, right? Now I see Yakuza here again. I think this actually would have been even more popular in people's mind. It wasn't released so early in the year, right? Yeah, because I said it to my friends last week. I was like, I think Yakuza 8 will be nominated for several awards. And they were like, Yakuza 8? Was that released this year? I was like, yeah, like January 1st, It's like, oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's like, people basically forgot about it. Yeah, it's definitely the best January game. I believe Unicorn's out end of February or beginning of March, right? So for the first 2 months of the year, this is the best game easily. Probably for 3-4 first months, so it can dominate in the beginning there. But again, people can forget about it, right? What do you guys think? But I think so. But obviously, I played all the role-playing games this year as well, right? So very good game year in that thing, absolutely. Do you feel these modern games that probably have forgotten about now that I haven't mentioned that I also really liked, but a bunch of games in front of me here, I can look at them. Yeah. Now I have the Unicorn Overlord here. What's that game? Yakuza, Elden Ring, Neo, the old game. For so I'm using my game stacks here, right, to play the catch on. Just standing on my current game stacks. But anyway, guys, that's the video. The subscribe, like button. What do you guys think? What should win and so on? And yeah, I'm gonna make a review about Metamorphosis hopefully this week then. But I think it's gonna be a very long video, right? It's a really good game. I'll talk about it for length. I also want to talk again about how it's not a Vogue actually, right? It's like fantasy stuff. It's like, oh, the elf hates the dwarf, something. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be a very long video, but I also feel it's interesting because I really like the Persona games, right? And I'm a big fan, so I knew I was gonna like it. But at the same time, this game is interesting because there's some changes in Metamorphosis which are really good, which are like improving the quality of life of a Persona game. Like several times, that really improves the game. And then a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, man, but this is all stupid. Yeah, so it's like a lot of changes. Like the Arcane system, I think, is better than the Persona system because it's more freedom with all the characters and so on. So that's great, but it also makes it too easy because everyone can be the same thing, and this is so it's there's a lot of like hit and miss I feel in that game. It's still a good game overall, but I feel I'm mostly trying to compare it to its Persona 5, like it's basically a spiritual sequel to that game. It's obviously is basically Persona 6, right, but it's fantasy instead of modern time. So it's like it's that's why the video probably be very long because I'm gonna compare it a lot to the previous games and talk about it at length and so on. One thing I would say lastly that I didn't like in the game, though, honestly, is at first I liked it. It had more free time to do all your dates and befriend everyone, because I don't like that in some of the Persona games or similar games you can miss out on some of the characters like romance or whatever, even if you do it perfectly, right? Because it's too few days. But in this game, first I was like, oh, it's great. This game, by doing it correctly, I can get everyone to like me and it's great so on. But then eventually, I did it so good or whatever, right? That I ended up with like 20 days doing nothing. So I was like, well, I have way too much days now. So I felt that because there's been a critique, right, against Atlas for years, that you can't like, oh, even if I play it perfectly, I miss out like 5 romance scenes, whatever. It's stupid. So I need 5 more days. They're like, okay, here's like 30 more days. They're like, I only need 5. So it's like, that's like a weird feeling. It's how I feel the game in general is. I like it a lot, because they did a lot of changes like that, which improves the game. But some other times I feel like they went overboard, oh, you need that thing here? So I have a lot of things in my head over that game, right? But overall it's a good game. And I definitely think it's worth your time and money, definitely. But yeah, so you guys have a great day.